Hello, everybody. I am Peter the Booklover, and this is Movie Talk. This is where I talk about the movies that I recently watched, and this is a pretty good one. This is episode 26, and this is the movie A Fistful of Dollars. Let's talk about this movie. Hello, everybody. I am Peter the Booklover. I like to read a lot of books. I like to talk about books. I like to collect books, and I like to talk about movies. So I made a YouTube channel talking about books and movies. And I have a pretty good time doing this. Hopefully you'll enjoy it as well. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about the movie A Fistful of Dollars by starring Clint Eastwood, a spaghetti western. But before I get into the movie, I really want to thank my audience for being here. Every episode, I want to let my audience know that I really appreciate you giving me your time. Thank you so much for coming by. It means a lot to me. Okay, let's talk about this movie, A Fistful of Dollars. This movie came out January 18th, 1967. And this movie was directed by Sergio Leone. Now, the one movie that he's done, other than this movie, that I'm familiar with, is Ben-Hur. He was the second director of Ben-Hur, so some of his work is in the movie Ben-Hur, and I really love that movie. It's a fantastic movie. I think it's fantastic. I wonder if he had anything to do with the chariot race, because that was one of the best parts of that movie. He also directed the sequel to this movie, A Few Dollars More, and also the third movie in this series, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I haven't seen either one of those, but I look forward to watching them one day because I really enjoyed this movie. Now, the first actor that I'm going to talk about is the guy that played Ramon Rojo. This is played by John Maria Valente. And he also stars in the sequel, A Few Dollars More. The next actor I'm going to talk about is an actress, and this is the person that plays Marisol, and this is played by Marianne Koch, and I have not seen her in any other movies that I'm familiar with. The next actor I'm going to talk about is the actor that plays Esteban Rojo, and this is played by Shaghart Rupf, or Roop. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but that's the third actor, and his movies are movies that I'm not familiar with, so I've never seen another movie that he's been in. Now, the next character I'm going to talk about is John Baxter, and that is played by Wolfgang Lutzke, and he's another actor that's not in any other movies that I am familiar with. And the next actor I'm going to talk about is the actor that plays Salvanito. And this person is played by Jose Calvo. And this is one of my favorite characters in this movie. His performance in this movie was fantastic. And then the last character that I'm going to talk about is the guy that plays Joe. And that is Clint Eastwood. Now, Clint Eastwood has a fantastic career. And let's cover this career. The first movie that he was in was Revenge of the Creature. This is a sequel to Creature of the Black Lagoon. And I really love the movie Creature of the Black Lagoon. I'm not a big fan of this movie, but I've seen this movie. And one of my favorite parts of that movie is seeing his performance in that movie. It's a very short performance, and it's pretty cool. Now, the next movie that he was in that I'm familiar with is Coogan's Bluff. And I seen this movie a while ago, and I really enjoyed it. As a matter of fact, I've talked about this movie earlier in another episode of Book Talk. And I like this movie. I didn't like it a lot, but it was a pretty cool movie, and I really enjoyed it. Now, the next movie that I've seen him in of his career is a movie that I really like a lot. This is Dirty Harry. And this is the first movie where he plays Callahan, Sergeant Callahan, and it's a great movie. I really love this movie. Now, This wasn't my first Dirty Harry movie that I seen. I'm going to talk about the first Dirty Harry movie that I seen a little bit later. That's going to be coming up in this list. And he starred in the second Dirty Harry movie, Magnum Force. This was another good Dirty Harry movie. Susan Summers is in this movie. You know, she plays a very small part, but she's in that movie. And this was a pretty interesting movie. I really enjoyed it. And then we had this movie called Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. And this is a very good Clint Eastwood movie. This also stars Jeff Bridges. And Jeff Bridges does a fantastic performance in this movie. I really loved it. It's a pretty cool movie, and I enjoyed it a lot. Then we've got The Outlaw Josie Wales. And this was a fantastic Western. I believe this was the first Western that I ever seen him in, and I really, really loved this. This was a great movie. Lot of fun, lot of funny parts to it. Great Western. Then we got The Enforcer, which is the third Dirty Harry movie, and this was a great movie as well. This is probably my third favorite Dirty Harry movie, and it's great. I really love this movie. The villains in this movie are really good villains, and I really enjoyed it a lot. Now, the next movie that I seen by him was The Gauntlet, and this is another very good movie, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. Not as much as I enjoy the Dirty Harry movies, but this was a pretty good movie, in my opinion. Then we have Every Which Way But Loose. Plus, there's a sequel to this. I can't remember if I've seen the sequel or not, but I've seen this movie and I enjoyed it a lot. It's got Ruth Gordon in it, and it's got an orangutan in it, and this is a comedy, and it's a pretty fun comedy. There's this big fist fight in the movie, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. I seen this in the theaters, and I enjoyed it when I seen it. And then we have the movie Escape from Alcatraz, which is another movie that I seen in the movie theater when it came out. And this is a pretty interesting movie based on a true story about some people that escaped from Alcatraz. And I enjoyed it. Not my favorite Dirty Harry movie, but it was enjoyable. Okay, the next movie that I seen by him was Firefox. And this movie was not liked by a lot of people. But I remember seeing this. I didn't like it much myself. But I plan on rewatching it one day. Who knows? I might have a different opinion of it if I rewatch it. Now, the next movie that he made was Sudden Impact. Now, this is the first Dirty Harry movie that I've seen, and this is my favorite Dirty Harry movie. This is an amazing movie. There's a scene in this movie where he says, "Go ahead, make my day," and that really stuck with a lot of people. That was like a catchphrase that people were repeating it all over the place when this movie first came out. This movie blew me away, and I fell in love with it. And this movie, I watch it to this day, and I still love it. It's got a great ending, man. If you have not seen Sudden Impact, it's one of my favorite Dirty Harry movies. Now, the next one is The Unforgiven, and this is a fantastic Western. This has got Gene Hackman in this movie. He does a fantastic performance. Richard Harris is in this movie, plus some other actors you're going to know from other movies. And it's a really good movie. Fantastic. Morgan Freeman is in this movie as well. And Morgan Freeman does a fantastic job in this movie. And what happens to Morgan Freeman really makes you angry. And it leads to the finale of this movie. And this finale of this movie is amazing. I love the finale of Unforgiven. And then the next movie that he made that I'm familiar with. Now, I did see High Plane Drifter and I seen Hang 'em High, but I can't remember them and I want to rewatch them before I want to talk about them. But I have seen those movies as well. And they were earlier in his career. But the next movie that I'm familiar with watching is $1 Million Baby. Now, this movie stars Hilary Swank, and the beginning of this movie is fantastic. But man, this movie kind of does a U-turn and turns into one of the saddest dramas that you could ever see. Very depressing ending, but still a great movie. Although I be careful if you watch this one. This one will break your heart. Then Gran Torino, and that was a pretty interesting movie in my opinion as well. The ending is kind of bizarre in my opinion, but it's cool. I enjoyed it, and it's a very good Clint Eastwood movie in my opinion. I enjoyed it quite a bit. And then the last movie that he made that I seen was The Mule. And that was a good movie as well. I remember enjoying that quite a bit. So that's pretty much the career of Clint Eastwood. I mean, he's done a lot of movies, and I really enjoyed a lot of the movies this guy has done. Although he was also in a show called Rawhide, but I really haven't watched that show. But hopefully one day I'll get a chance to watch that too, because Clint Eastwood has an amazing screen presence. It's really incredible. Okay, so what this is a story of Clint Eastwood that arrives in a town. And he arrives in a town that's at war with each other. And one of the first things that happens in this movie is that he rides in on his horse, and they kind of shoot at his horse, and his horse takes off running, and he kind of grabs onto something, gets off his horse. Then he goes into a tavern, has a conversation, finds out what's going on, and then he comes out and he walks to these people. And the people that shot at his mule, he walks up to them and says, "You scared my mule back there a little bit." And she really didn't like that. "So I'd like you to apologize to her." And the way they start laughing at him is great. But then a great scene happens after that. I'm not going to give it away, but that's how this movie starts, with this awesome scene after they say that. You can kind of guess what happens, and it's awesome. There's another part to it that I'm not going to give away, but he walks back and he says something that's really funny. I'm not going to give it away. But yes, this movie grabs you from that point on. And the thing about this movie, the villains in this movie, he pits the villains against each other. He's got two sets of villains, and he sets them against each other. But one set of villains, the Rojos, are ruthless. I mean, they're about as ruthless as they come. They're heartless. They do some ruthless things in this movie that have no heart, and it's really amazing the way that Clint Eastwood comes at this situation. And it's far-fetched, though. I mean, if a movie that's a little far-fetched bothers you, it is. It's far-fetched. This would not happen in real life. There's no way they would do some of the things they did in this movie. But by this being a movie and you're watching a movie, oh, it's great. And I was totally invested in this movie. This movie was fantastic. I really enjoyed it, Although the ending is kind of like bizarre, and it's kind of over the top. And it's like, I don't think it would really work that way. But it's really cool. Really, really cool. And I highly recommend this movie. And hopefully one day soon I'll get to see for a few dollars more. And then I actually get to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because this movie was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. The villains were perfectly bad. I mean, if you want to watch a movie, you want the villains to be ruthless and bad and people that you just can't like. When the movie's over, that's it. The guys in this movie, the Rojos, are ruthless. And not saying that what are they? The Baxters are not ruthless as well, but the Rojos are a lot worse. There's some things in this movie that they do that are very, very bad. But yeah, I highly recommend this Western. It was a lot of fun. If you haven't seen it, I'm surprised I've never seen this Western before. But now that I've seen it, I really love it. I think it's fantastic. I'm looking forward to watching A Few Dollars More. I think that The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is available now, and I could watch that now on YouTube. But I actually want to watch for a few dollars more first, because I would like to watch this trilogy in order, because it seems like it's a very good trilogy, and I actually want to watch some more of Sergio Leone's movies, because this was pretty good, very entertaining, and I enjoyed it. And one more thing that's interesting about this, there was another BookTube channel that was showing a haul that he got, and apparently these are 3 books. So I would love to read these 3 books. It would be really cool to read the Fistful of Dollars, A Few Dollars More, and the Good and the Bad and the Ugly. That would be very entertaining books, in my opinion. So that is all I really want to say about it. A Fistful of Dollars is a movie I highly recommend. Okay, so that's the video. Now, if you liked the video, let me know that you liked it by hitting the like button. When you hit the like button, it means a lot to me. It really goes straight to my heart. Thank you if you do that. And if you don't hit the like button, thank you anyways. Now, if you got any questions or any comments, please let me know in the comments. I love to hear from my audience. It's my favorite part of doing this, is communicating with the audience. So please let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And if you subscribe to my channel, I really want to thank all the people that subscribed. Thank you for being here. And if you're still watching my videos, I even thank you the more. But if you're watching and you haven't subscribed yet, please do me a favor, subscribe to my channel. I make new videos all the time, and I work at them pretty hard. So if you do, I would really appreciate that. And that's about it. I am Peter the Book Lover, and I want to thank you for coming by, and I hope to see you in the next video.